A scary scenario. A woman who survived COVID-19 discusses the harrowing ordeal.
Plus, tonight, detectives searching for some precious metals stolen from a Helena shop.
And later, caught in the act or a misunderstanding, we question police about how they handle the situation. One witness says it was uncalled for.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
Also tonight, a look at how the virus is impacting Malmstrom Air Force Base. Thanks for making us a part of your night. I'm Tim McGonigal.
And I'm Hallie Schwinnard. We'll also take a look at some jobs being created in the wake of the virus. But first tonight, another Montanan has died from COVID-19. According to Glacier County Health Department, a woman in her 80s died from complications, marking the county's first death from the disease and the state's 46th overall. The state has now surpassed the 3,000 total cases confirmed and reported 129 new cases since Thursday, 20 of those right here in Cascade County, which has 57 active cases. 4 are in Lewis and Clark County, which has 68 active cases.
As the number of active COVID cases in Cascade County continues to rise, Malmstrom Air Force Base is looking to better protect its crew. Local military members are no longer allowed to enter public establishments where food or drink are consumed, including restaurants, bars, nightclubs, and casinos. Military members can still use takeout services or briefly enter dining establishments for pickup orders, but cannot dine in these establishments. This way, members eliminate all non-essential outings. Malmstrom discussed their response to COVID during a Facebook town hall meeting last night. During the meeting, Colonel Jennifer Reeves revealed that Malmstrom sends their case numbers to the United States Air Force as part of their current Department of Defense policy. Reeves further explained, saying, "It's not that we're trying to hide the truth, but the release of the cumulative numbers could indicate an opportunity for an adversary to exploit a potential vulnerability. For this reason, the base will report their numbers to Cascade City County Health Department, but will only reveal total force case numbers to the public." If we take a look at total U.S. Air Force cases, the most recent data they have available is from July 19th, so it's almost a week old. It shows military cases just over 2,300, 0 deaths. When you add in civilians, dependents, and contractors, that total number jumps to just over 5,000 cases and 8 deaths.
We had some viewers ask us yesterday why names are being taken at the Eats an Essential event in Great Falls. We were at the event. Here's some video of that. The health department says because the event organizer anticipated a large turnout, they worked with the health department to develop a plan for social distancing and other preventative measures. The event staff members were collecting the information in case an individual tested positive for COVID-19 after the event, and contact tracing was required.
Health offices are hiring more employees to prevent COVID-19. You've probably seen some extra checkpoints before you go into the doctor's office for your appointments. They would ask you some questions about your travel and symptoms, followed by a temperature check. We spoke with Michelle Gibbons, practice manager at the Montana Heart and Vascular Institute. She tells us this will be needed for a while.
You know, having staff that can clean every room after each and every patient, wiping down absolutely everything, wiping down the waiting room after each patient, all of the iPads, the pens, everything that patients touch. I mean, we're having to, you know, could possibly even add an extra staff member who just helped us with those items.
And they're currently looking for paid positions to help with COVID cleaning. On where to apply, you can check our website for more details. Well, it was a warm day out there today, and more of it is expected this weekend. Meteorologist Elizabeth Copeland joining us now for a first look at our forecast.
Well, after the cold front moved through yesterday, sparking storms and a rainy afternoon, this afternoon looking very different out across north central and northeast Montana. While we were 22 to 23 degrees cooler this time yesterday, it's just the opposite today with 20-degree warmer temperatures in Helena, 9 to 10 in Great Falls. So warmer weather has settled back in after that cold front moved through, and we're tracking a lot more blue skies this afternoon than we were yesterday. The only area really seeing those isolated showers is mostly across southern parts of the state. So closer to Helena, just south of us, we're seeing a rain shower out of our Opportunity Bank ICAM there. A couple of clouds here and there, the little breeze, but overall a very, very nice afternoon. And we're still tracking great weather for the weekend as well. Tonight dropping down to the mid 50s, partly cloudy skies for those overnight conditions in Great Falls. But we do track a nice warm up to the 80s once again tomorrow, still slightly cooler than average. We track that cooler weather in our forecast coming up here shortly.
A concerned viewer reached out to us unhappy with how police handled a situation in town involving some homeless people. MTN's Matt Holzappel spoke with this concerned individual and police. Matt, what did you find out?
Yeah, Tim, so yesterday 3 Great Falls police officers pulled up in an unmarked vehicle on this corner behind me between 1st Avenue North and 7th Street North. I spoke with an eyewitness from the account and a representative from the Great Falls Police Department, and guys, it turns out that what happened wasn't too out of the ordinary.
According to an eyewitness account, these 3 officers with the Great Falls Police Department spoke with several men who were hanging around the IGA grocery store on 1st Avenue North.
They were not being loud, they were not being belligerent, nothing. They were just standing there having a conversation like normal human beings. And the police put the long-haired gentleman in handcuffs.
The GFPD says they work with the Business Improvement District to patrol this part of town, and they regularly see problems with people having open containers and loitering.
They were out doing some enforcement efforts within the brick area, and they came across this group that they were watching from a distance in an unmarked vehicle, which is perfectly acceptable by law for us to be able to do. Could see an individual with an open container drinking, and that's when they went up to deal with that issue. While they're dealing with it, another individual shows up. This individual is on probation, and he is a known individual that likes to assault police officers.
According to the rest of the account from the officers, another individual that was there began to urinate in public. The officers watched this occur while they were trying to work with all the individuals there. Another person wandered across the street to the Zip Trip, where they had previously been trespassed from the establishment.
So our officers went over and talked to him, and they said, yeah, he doesn't cause any problems anymore. We don't have any issue with him being here. Mm-hmm. They removed the trespass. He didn't get a ticket, so they made a discretionary call.
Hey guys, all in all, there were 2 citations issued, one for the open container and one for public urination and disorderly conduct. Now, I did look into the regulations for unmarked police vehicles, and the Montana legislature in 2004, there was a bill introduced that would have prohibited police officers from using vehicles not clearly marked as police vehicles. That bill died in the Senate in April of 2005. Hallie?
Thank you, Matt. A Helena business says a thief stole an estimated 5 figures worth of gold nuggets from their shop. But as MTN's Alexia Guayo discovered, they also may have taken something that's priceless to future gold hunters.
If you ever needed an excuse to find treasure, now is the time. The Prospectors Shop in Helena is asking for community help to find their stolen gold nuggets.
I would really like to get this back.
The incident occurred on July 18th. The thief took an entire case, similar to this one, of gold nuggets. The stolen case had what Bud described as rare gold.
The gold they stole, there was 4 pieces in there that are extremely large nuggets, and they're extremely rare. And those kind of nuggets are like snowflakes. There's no 2 alike.
More to it, the nuggets were a showcase piece meant to inspire amateur and veteran prospectors hunting for their own gold nuggets.
They've destroyed the opportunity for kids and grown-ups who are getting started in gold panning and going out in the hills. The kids really enjoy holding them.
There is a substantial reward on information on the stolen nuggets. The Prospector Shop has even offered the thief to return everything intact with no questions asked. In Helena, I'm Lexi Guayo, MTN News.
If you have any information regarding the stolen gold, you are encouraged to call the Lewis and Clark County Sheriff's Office or Bud at the shop.
The contract negotiations for our viewers, that watch us on Dish Network, we have a programming note for you. Our parent company Scripps and Dish are in contract negotiations. So this station, KRTV, may go dark for Dish customers tomorrow if they don't reach an agreement by the contract deadline. Since launching its first television station in 1947, Scripps has never before experienced a station blackout with any cable or satellite operator. In a statement, Scripps said after 5 months of negotiating with Dish and multiple contract extensions, Scripps and Dish Network may be reaching an impasse. We hope Dish will understand the need for Scripps viewers to receive its local television stations, given the pressing needs of news in our communities right now, including a global pandemic, discussions around social unrest, the active political year, and severe weather season. This dispute is about the distribution of our broadcast signal so we can keep our local audiences safe and informed. If you can't access KRTV tomorrow night on Dish, please go to our website, krtv.com, for more information. Well, coronavirus testing centers are changing their approach. We'll explain why coming up.
Welcome. From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 530 News.
Tonight, we're hearing from one Montanan who has recovered from the coronavirus. MTN's Jessica Nelson sat down with this young woman who not only tested positive, but had severe symptoms and says there's a stigma surrounding the virus, one she wishes wasn't there.
It was puzzling for me to tell people, oh, I tested positive, and rather than the response being, oh my goodness, like, how are you feeling? Are you okay? As opposed to, no, they're just more worried about, oh, well, where did you get it? What were you doing when you did it? Like, what were you doing? Because obviously you were somewhere you shouldn't have been.
Katie said there was no way for her to know where, when, or even how she got the coronavirus.
We're past that point in the level of community spread we're at now, where I don't really think it's a matter of pointing fingers, and it was just really kind of disheartening to see how many people were more worried about, like, who can I blame for this?
But she did get it. She described the impact on her body and concerns about the lasting effects.
I was super, super tired. The chest pressure just started intensifying a lot. Feverish, body aches, headaches. The headache lasted for the longest. I still get intermittent headaches, but definitely just very feverish, chills. But I'm more so worried about the long-term effects from this, because it's been 3 weeks and I still get winded walking up and down stairs and doing very simple everyday tasks.
Katie wanted to share her story with me because she wants people to know with this disease comes a lot of uncertainty, and she's urging others to take steps to protect themselves.
Masks. I know people are so sick of hearing about it, but I wish I had been more diligent about it beforehand, and I wasn't. I had the mindset of, I'm young, I'm 23, I'm not going to get it. I just wasn't being as careful as I should have been.
In Helena, Jessica Nelson, MTN News.
Well, as Montanans ramp up their prevention efforts against COVID testing, centers have narrowed in on their approach. Alluvian's drive-through testing center will now direct its efforts to those who are symptomatic or who have been in contact with an infected person, instead of encouraging the entire public to be tested as a precaution. Alluvian Health also changed their drive-through testing location to make for a stable location should testing have to continue in future months. Now, instead of setting up outdoors at the former Westgate Mall, providers will have stations set up indoors within the livestock pavilion at Montana Expo Park. Alluvian Health Marketing Director Aaron Merchant explained that this relocation was rooted in convenience, not increased need for testing in Cascade County.
This definitely was a good location as we are starting to move into the fall. We wanted to make sure that we had an area, should weather get a little bit hard to navigate, and should testing continue into the fall, we have a space that will accommodate both our staff and people going through the drive-through.
Those scheduled for a test must enter through the main fairgrounds entrance on 3rd Street Northwest, as other entrances are closed.
Clear skies today are going to translate through the weekend as well. Blue skies and cooler temperatures in our forecast, while more coming up after the break.
Storm Tracker weather starts now with Chief Meteorologist Elizabeth Copeland.
We've made it to Friday, and it's a very different look outside right now of our Doppler network than it was this time yesterday for north central and northeast Montana. This time yesterday, we were tracking severe storms, not only in central Montana, but through the northeast corner. Now, much different conditions as just a few light rain showers actually are just moving south of Helena and a few clouds across a high line. Other than that, the northeast part of the high line seeing a few clouds across Glasgow. None of those clouds producing rain. Mostly clear conditions elsewhere across Lewistown, Great Falls. But we do have that very nice little spotty shower just south of Helena. But cooler weather is here to stay for the next few days. So today is actually the warmest day for the weekend, at least the beginning of the weekend. 87 degrees right now in Helena, 79 in Great Falls. Slightly warmer, of course, like it always is across the northeast corner where we're hitting the 90s in Glasgow and Plentywood. Overall, though, we're going to actually take a nice little dip in temperatures tomorrow. These are going to be actually slightly cooler for Saturday afternoon. So if you have the outdoor chores to do, maybe even hiking, not so much of a chore, then you probably want to do that tomorrow. Knock it out tomorrow afternoon because we're drier and cooler tomorrow. But dry air is really another big story of the day. So that dry air has moved in behind all those severe storms and behind that cold front from yesterday. And we're looking at relative humidity percentages right in the 20s, even some teens across the northeast corner. So very dry across the high line all the way from Havre to Cutbank where we're in the teens there. And that's very dry air. And of course, that is going to trigger some fire concerns heading through the weekend and especially next week as the drier air sticks around and we're going to warm up quite a bit. So today out there across our US Bank ICAM and Great Falls, enjoying the blue skies, the cooler weather, and especially at least the drier air for now because it actually feels much cooler because of that drier air. So yesterday there was a lot of humidity. It felt very humid outside and felt warmer than it actually was. But today it's 82 is the actual temperature, feeling like 78, and we have that breeze and dry air, which are all contributing to the feel like temperature, which is much cooler than actual temperature when we have 25, 30 mile per hour gusts out there across central Montana this evening. So we're still tracking that dry air tonight. A few spotty showers, a possible storm through Fergus County a little later this evening. The showers do make it up to the northeast corner as you wake up about 5:30 a.m. on your Saturday morning. Otherwise, we stay dry. More dry air filters in for tomorrow afternoon. These storms stay south, and we're going to see another, again, cooler afternoon, but much more dry air and a lot more sunshine than even we saw today. And there's still a lot of blue sky out there. So this is looking pretty good right now, getting out the grill. And tomorrow is going to be a perfect day to do so. If you're not going hiking, staying at home. 8 a.m., 60 degrees will be partly cloudy, and then we stay sunny and only warm up to really the upper 70s by 4, low 80s in the off hour, and then mid 70s by 8 p.m. So a great day to get out there and grill, but we are still tracking, of course, that red flag warning for the high line that's in effect until 9 p.m. tonight. And just because you're not in the red flag warning, which is in effect for parts of the high line, doesn't mean that fire danger doesn't exist. And we're still going to track that fire danger over the next 7 days across central Montana because we're going to see that dry air and much warmer air, especially next week as we jump into the 90s in the forecast. So we'll stay in the low 80s tomorrow, again, taking that dip in temperatures across north central and southwest Montana. And then by Monday, high pressure builds in. We're staying dry and going to stay very warm.
Storm Tracker weather starts now with Grant Garland.
Still to come, major changes for some local sports, how UP is dealing with their latest schedule change.
Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 530 News.
While most fall sports teams await a decision on the 2020 season, a handful of college teams are already planning on a major schedule change. Last week, the Cascade Conference announced a plan to move all fall competition to the spring of 2021, which includes the soccer seasons for teams at Providence, Carroll, and Rocky Mountain. Argo women's soccer coach Brian Clark told MTN that the move wasn't a surprise and his team will have to adapt to the reality of a new schedule.
You know, there's a lot to be determined still within the institution, so we're not 100% sure how that's going to look. But I've been likening it to we're going to look like softball. You know, have a fall ball for practicing and training, and you know, I don't think we'll get any scrimmages just with all the regulations. Have the Christmas break and come back and start really ramping it up for the spring season.
The Providence men's soccer team is currently without a head coach after Matt Ball accepted a position at MSU Billings, but the Argos expect to have an interim coach in place by next week.
Major League Baseball officially returned to action on Thursday, and with regular season games commencing on opening day, one Montanan will be there front and center when the Chicago White Sox take the field for the first time. 24-year-old Missoula native Cody Hoyer was officially listed on Chicago's 30-man opening day roster on Thursday as games began. The White Sox opened their season today against the Minnesota Twins. This is Hoyer's first time being named to a roster in the major leagues. Hoyer, who played college ball at Wichita State, spent 2018 playing for the Great Falls Voyagers in the Pioneer League. Over the past 10 years, the Montana East-West Shrine football game has raised nearly $1 million to the Shriners Hospital in Spokane. But with the 2020 contest called off due to the COVID-19 pandemic, Montana communities are stepping up to organize separate fundraisers to help defray the loss of the game. In Great Falls, the local shrine coordinators are hosting a golf tournament September 5th at Eagle Falls. And just like the game itself, the goal is to keep Shriners Hospital patients at the forefront.
I have some patients and their families that are going to be out there joining us, and then the golfers will hopefully be able to get a chance to visit with the kids while they're waiting for their turn at the par 3 and find out their stories and find out why we do what we do.
The tournament is limited to 26 teams. You can find registration information at montanasports.com. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
A cooler afternoon on Saturday and Sunday is in store for us as we top out in the low to mid 80s. And then for the weekend, we're going to see the 90s return to the forecast. That drier air is here to stay, especially beginning next week as that high pressure builds into Helena and Great Falls. Seeing a lot of isolated chances of thunderstorms pop back up Tuesday and Wednesday.
Sounds like get the yard work done tomorrow and then enjoy the sunshine and warmer temperatures the rest of the weekend.
Just enjoy the sunshine, Tim.
Good advice. All right, that's all the time we have. See you back here tonight at 10.